What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode. On today's episode, I'm gonna show you guys these little tools that I had to do, that I had to make in order for me to be able to shape the tail lights and get everything fitted perfectly. So first step, I'm gonna cut these down. These are paint mixing sticks. So let's go ahead and cut. This is the reason I had to make them is so that I can go ahead and shape everything to the exact size of the tail lights, as you can see here when I had to backfill them. So the first thing you want to do is you take these little inexpensive paint sticks mixers.
As you can see right now, we're spraying some glue on them in order to, when we tape them down with the sanding paper, it could stick and not come off, and it could also sand them down. Right.
Yep. These are Velcro sanding paper that I was using on my sanding blocks. So I use a little bit of extra adhesive spray on both the sticks and on the paper for it to tack up and bond together. Right here I have an 80 grit and I have a 120 grit as well as a 180 on my final sander. So right here they've all tacked up just for it to bond extra good without any trouble. I don't want it to come apart, so I sprayed a little bit more to promote it. Press them on, make sure that they're not moving. Apply the same thing to all of them. We've tried, you can see on the right side over here, I have a whole bunch of 6-inch sanding paper. I have anywhere from like Home Depot, Diablo brand. I also have quite a few of Harbor Freight sanding discs. But I also have the sanding paper over here from 3M, and they kind of all perform a little different. They don't exactly all function as, you know, 180 grit from one company doesn't exactly work just like any other brand 80 grit. So you need to see what you're working on, the material that you're gonna be sanding, and from there you can choose what kind of sandpaper works best for your project. Some of these first two that I'm folding over, those are more of a mesh kind of sandpaper, and they help by not clogging up too much, but they're not too coarse, so they don't sand away material too easily because of that flexibility of them being able to breathe. I'm right now just cutting off this excess right here before I start trimming them. I want to make sure that they're small enough for me to be able to get into small creases, corners and stuff without me having to go too small.
So what you want to do, you guys want to cut it down to like what little angle? What would you say that angle is?
That's like just any little 45-degree angle, just for you to be able to have. I was trying to have a round corner and then a sharp corner, but later on I end up removing the round because I wasn't able to use it as I thought. The sharp angled corner is so that you can reach inside a little crevice. I'll show in a few seconds here. I'll be showing how I be using them and how you can get the corners to help you out quite a bit.
So how many did you make? You made 3 only?
Yeah,
That was enough for both sides?
Yeah, I only made 3 for now, and maybe if I had to redo this, I would make them with Velcro. Just glue the Velcro onto the sticks. That way I can interchange the pieces of sandpaper in between projects and stuff. Right here, you'll see that what I'm trying to show you guys is that there's like a little bit of a bump that doesn't let it lay flat. So if you just use sandpaper or a sanding like a foam block, you would dig away the body or dig away the shape. So with these, I'm able to get a lot closer to getting everything straight instead of being uneven. You can see towards the top right here, there's a little bit of gap, but it's flat on the bottom side.
So technically you were using it kind of like a ruler.
Kind of like a ruler, yeah, exactly, because the flatness of the paint sticks themselves are pretty flat. So with the sandpaper, you won't be digging away the high spots and then leaving the low spots. You'll be making everything flat. Right here, if you can see right here by the lower section, that little white spot, that's drywall. Right there's a big gap. You can see there's a pencil scribe on there as well that I try to leave for reference. When I start sanding, I'm gonna start sanding away the top of the pencil marking, and the middle is gonna stay there for the most period of the time that I'm sanding. That's kind of showing you guys Right here you can see it again, there's a little shadow gap right in the middle right there, and that's what I'm trying to get rid of.
So for the people trying to do a body kit with a lot of waves, what would you recommend them to do?
Definitely, you guys gotta look into. You guys gotta get creative. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff on the market, different brands, different styles, different handles, different sizes as well. But this right here is not something that they have. You just gotta get creative. Use what you have available, especially if they're inexpensive, and just try to get the shapes perfected. On anything that's small like this, you have to get these very ultra small little tools. But for the big stuff, you want to use the linear acrylic block sanders. We did use the foam sanders, and that was decent, but it made us redo the process a couple times. And we did try the power tools, but unless you're really highly skilled already, you'll probably be eating into your body by using power tools. Right here, I'm gonna speed it up a little bit, just so you guys can see. If you guys can see right here towards the top, the pencil mark is starting to fade, but the lower bottom side is still there when I remove the sander.
It's something you gotta have an eye for too. You gotta, because most people wouldn't be able to see what you're actually talking about. When they see the video, they're gonna be like, "What the hell?" But you really, when you're there doing it, you gotta have to see what others don't see, I guess.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If they're doing any body kits, just make sure you guys keep a little detailed into it, and just make sure you guys are keep like the tail light or whatever you guys are putting into the truck. Make sure you guys are keep fitting it in to see if it fits or not.
Yeah,
don't just mark it and then you
go too deep.
You go too deep, and then
at some point right now, I'll show you guys that I end up backfilling anyways. But I did want to get the majority of the shape solid. This little gray area that you see, that's drywall, and I've explained it in many of the videos that if you guys shape or do any kind of sculpting, you guys want to make shape it up with drywall. That's a really good idea, inexpensive, and you could always reuse the material that you take off. But you don't want to shape it to the perfect size. You always want to make it a little bit smaller so that you can fill it with something that's a lot harder surface, like body filler. That way you don't keep breaking through it and making tips. Right there where you see, just where I'm covering right now, you see those two little gray spots. That's actually drywall, and it always gets lower no matter what when you break through it. So make sure you guys keep that in mind. But right here, I'm just trying to lower that little pencil line that I showed you guys earlier. You can start to see on that ledge where it's turning white, and that's because I'm breaking through the to the gel coat, which is okay. It's just showing you guys where I'm at. It's showing you that I'm sanding a lot more on the top where it was tighter to the tail light, and the bottom was a little bit more narrower. So just trying to show you guys that little gap right there. Of course, just keep refitting it with whatever it is that you're trying to fit up to it. That way you don't overdo it, and if you do, it's okay. You guys just add a little bit more body filler and then just sand that back up again. It just takes a little bit of practice, a lot of patience.
And then make sure you guys use both hands and everything, because you get tired real quick, huh?
Hell yeah. I got, since I work construction, my hands are a little bit fatter fingers and all. So those little things, they cramp up your hands real quick. So whatever you're able to use for your advantage, right there you can see that the gap is like about 3/8 all the way around, because I'm gonna backfill it and get an 1/8 of an inch perfect reveal. So that's really close. You see that the side of it is just about on point. Maybe right there I need a little bit more on towards the lower middle, but it's pretty good. Now I'm gonna move over to the top side and the middle, the second turn.
How long do you think it took you to sand these down?
This part itself, in real time, it took a whole day. It took about maybe 4 to 5 hours. It took about 5 hours.
On each side, or probably?
Probably, yeah. Because first I sand it down, and then I go and backfill it, and then I shape it down like once more, and then it's a perfect fit. So right there, if you guys are able to see at any point, the tail light fits perfect, or it's getting perfect to the actual shape of the body of the rear fender, but it is not laying on the flange. So when I backfill with the green fiber light bundle, I'm actually pressing it behind the tail light so that it actually has a proper seat, because the little flange that's on there right now, it touches on some parts and some parts it doesn't touch. So I make sure that it has a good resting place for the tail light. That way there's no guesswork into it.
That's a good fit right there, huh?
Yep, I got the first turn pretty good. You can see the white where I was breaking through the primer and getting to the gel coat. That's fine still. It's still sealed up and everything's gonna get sealed before we continue. But right here I'm hitting that little second corner, the little second round turn.
So you could say that this tail light has a lot of waves to it compared to other tail lights, or do you think that there's some that have less than others, or
Nah,
what?
definitely. I think Chevy does have on the fender to meeting up with the tail light. It has a lot of body work to it.
Yeah.
I think the Ford and the Dodge have a lot smoother transition, and the tail lights are like one big piece. So it's a lot. It's like two little turns versus this one has like all these contours and curves.
So do you think people are gonna be able to rock this, or what? Because I know we're at the stage of the mold now, and you ended up covering it up in order for people to do what?
Yeah, right now, if you guys watch any of our lives or shorts, you'll be able to see that that entire piece that's open right now is backfilled in case you guys don't want to run those tail lights. But if you do, then it'll already come traced out exactly where to cut, and the tail lights are gonna be a perfect fit. But in case you guys want to run like off-road LED lights instead of the actual tail lights, it's up to you guys. But it'll be pre-fitted for the tail lights. And that'll be, remember, that's 2019, late 2019, all the way to 2026 for all the silverados, that being the 2500, 1500, any of those models all carry the same tail lights except the Sierra, the JMC version. That one we might consider if we have enough support for it. No one has asked us for that yet, so that one's up in the air right now. Right here, I'm just trying to get that little corner probably a little bit wider. That's probably like an eighth inch gap, but since I want everything to be uniform with body filler, I'm trying to open it a little bit more. That way it doesn't break through next time I'm trying to sand. Up here on this corner, we went ahead when we were first moving the truck in. This is one of the things that we had to redo after we had already finished it. But when I was moving the truck, there's not a lot of room. You'll see me struggling to fit in there in a little bit later section. And when we were moving the truck around, swinging it into the garage to try to fit sideways, I actually hit the wall and chipped both corners of the rear bedside.
So we had to redo that about, I think, 2 to 3 times.
Well, 2 times, one
Two
for each
times,
side.
huh?
Yeah, so that's why you can see that there's still a little bit of body work left to do on that upper corner. And then on top of the entire bedside, you see all my acrylic block sanders. That's just a generic brand off of Amazon. I haven't tested any of the more higher end brands to see if they're any different, but so far those were great. They made a big difference from any of the foam rollers for sure.
Pretty hard to use or no?
It's you just gotta let them do their thing. That's the hard part of it. Like some of them are too big, some of them are too small. You just gotta find the special medium in between them. Right here, I already shaped it with the little finger sanders, but I'm just trying to get the little contour a little bit deeper. The reason I'm trying to use a power tool is because that little blue that I'm shaving, that's body filler or Bondo, whichever one you want to call it, but that sands a lot slower than the drywall like I'm mentioning. So right now that I'm using this finger sanders, it's taking away all the drywall and it's not affecting the Bondo on there. So right now I'm just using the edge of the power tool here to get that thing sanded down a little bit lower with a body that I already flattened.
That's a cool little sander.
Yeah, that one's pretty
This
cool.
is cool. How much you think that cost?
That one's in Ingersoll, so maybe like 200.
300? Dang.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
It's cool too.
Yeah.
I think you would want one of those, you know, if you're doing any body work.
Yeah, they also use it a lot for like the welders and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Cause like then you can like sand little areas
that's cool.
for welding and
yeah,
shit.
little thing.
Like right here, you know, like that's pretty hard to get in a little flat spot. But with that, you get it already does a nice
Is
job.
it a very hard, like a tool that takes off a lot though, or just a
It
little?
can, yeah, it can.
Oh, it can, so it's strong.
Yeah. Yeah, especially like I said, like since we use drywall to sculpt everything, if you put a little bit of weight into it, it'll just keep digging in there. So you just want to do it lightly, like it's barely touching, just so you can get in the high spots, and then I'm going back with the little finger sanders.
And remember, guys, if you guys want to do any body work and get down to the details, you gotta do it handwork, right?
Yeah,
You
and
can't just use power tools in case, so it could just be perfected to the right. the right shape and little things that power tools are cool, but they always don't get everything, you know. They don't get the little specific things.
Yeah,
you know, the hard part is like a mechanic.
Yeah.
It's like get that little screw.
Yeah.
You got.
Yeah, you either underdo it or you overdo it. You know, you can't control them too much, and it just this was doing handwork is what makes the difference between like just mocking something up or like a draft version, just a concept versus like the finished product, and you want everything to be as close as perfect. So you gotta get in there with the hand tools for sure.
Yeah. But we don't recommend it to someone that has problems with like arthritis or something.
Yeah,
like that, that's not gonna.
It'll flare up your arthritis for sure. As I mentioned, I'm also including on the body kits the metal side where you see those bolts on the left side. That'll be part of the kit too. That way you have a mounting surface to the headlights. I mean to the tail lights. But you'll have to make your own little brackets in order for them to secure. But it'll still have fiberglass flange. And you guys also gotta make sure that you guys are always suited up, gloves and suit, because that stuff gets into your lungs, into your skin, your eyes, and your body absorbs that stuff really quick.
Allegedly, we're not doctors. Allegedly.
That shit does, man.
No, that shit does.
I can see the difference, when we're using cleaning equipment in there, like the acetone and stuff.
And your body soaks it right up.
Yeah, it does.
Right here, you guys.
Right here, you guys can see that the line's not perfect. That's what I'm exactly what I'm doing. I'm trying to test fit it and see where I need more. I'm trying to move the camera.
And sorry for the shakiness, guys. That we drank a lot of coffee that day.
Yeah, we had an update on the DJI, and for whatever reason, all the commands were a little bit backwards. So every time we moved the DJI, it would just shake like crazy. So we try not to move it as much as possible.
We're trying to bring more videos to you guys, but the reason that it usually stays in one spot or anything like that, it was because at the moment we weren't thinking of doing anything with it or coming onto social media. We really didn't have a social media. We kind of just lived like regular smugglers. So we were we
just lived under a rock.
But like since we were trying to bring it out, Shadow Bill trying to bring it out to light. Walking in the shadows with the halo, okay?
That's right. But it's just we were recording at the time. This is the shakiness we were talking about right here. But we were recording at the time in case we wanted the footage, in case we needed it for any reason. But we weren't actually preparing the scenes or like knew what we were gonna record and stuff. So we were just chilling, just having a good time. So some of the videos are not like super steady, super prepared. But we
are going to bring better videos as it goes by. We're just showing you guys the back process of how we started in case anybody is curious on the extra details or they're going to be doing anything like this. They could get some information if they don't, or you're just kind of the person that likes to see where it started from. But the videos are going to start getting better and better as we go.
You can see somebody came into the shop and was drawing all over the truck for some reason.
I don't know.
No, but the circles on top next to the little person, I don't know what the person was doing or something. He's like throwing something or something.
Yeah, but what's going on right here though?
But the circles with the Sharpie lines are all low spots that I have to go back and fill. But right here, I'm just trying to show you guys how I filled it in. And like I mentioned earlier, like the bottom of the tail light is not perfectly sitting on something. Like it's not a flat surface that it's sitting on. So I made sure that I packed it in there, this fiberglass strand body filler, so that it would be nice and solid on the back of the tail light. That I'll let it sit for about 15 minutes, let it start tacking up, and then I remove the tail light so it doesn't fuse with it. But then I have a perfect sitting surface on it. And right now I'm just tracing it with the same little paint sticks that I had for the sanding fingers. And I'm just going ahead, and it's an 1/8 inch gap all the way around. Right here, that part right here that you see me sanding on the top, but that it's perfectly designed like that.
What do you guys think? You guys think this is looking like a piece of cake? You know how they have the real or not real? It started looking real sharp right here, where we're like, damn, this shit looks like cake, low key, Yeah, once it comes out, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, you nailed it, all right.
You nailed it for sure, man.
So I'm like,
now we made sure everything was perfect on both sides, measurements. We took a straight edge to both sides, make sure they were even. equal from the bedside, equal from the top, from the bottom. The fender as well. We took like 2-3 nights when we used to work on the truck in the driveway at night times, and I held it up with straps in order for me to keep remeasuring. That's why you see that little cutout on the back of the fender there on the bottom of the lights. It's meant to be a perfect fit with OEM fenders. If you guys want to cut it out and do a pre-runner bar or something, you guys totally can. But it's meant to fit with OEM parts already. That way you guys can find used parts, new parts, armored bumpers and stuff, and then just add it to your build.
Right there, where you at right there, that's a little different, a little wave right there too, huh?
Yeah.
Like that mid-wave.
There's 2 waves right there in the middle. It's like 3 little sections.
Yep.
The top is one because it's round. The bottom is very sharp, and then the middle is a dip. So it's got quite a bit.
And then you were in a really tight spot.
Yeah, on the wall, you can see that I'm like right up against the wall. I'm leaning on the wall in order to try to get those curves all shaped out and everything. Well, we tried to do as best we could. It was the same kind of space on the front side, so we couldn't be moving it back and forth too much. It wasn't gonna give us much anyways. Right here, once everything starts to tack up, I try to take the edge off as much as I can, but eventually I just add a little bit extra and wait for it to completely sand and just block it off with like a little razor. Lay it flat on the body itself and cut that little excess lip off.
Where you get the bundle from? Where's that?
That one was Fiberglass. I actually like that one. It's very easy to like apply, but it's a little buttery. That's what I consider it. So it moves around a lot. But if you let it tack up for a few minutes, it sets pretty good.
What brand would you recommend?
Right now I probably can't even say that. I don't know if I made an error on the ones that we did try that we had issues with.
Yeah.
But because they're supposed to be.
And you guys are painters and watching our videos. What kind of bundle is it your favorite, huh?
Yeah.
Because this ain't the first project we're gonna be doing, so we'll be.
Yeah, you guys be dropping some suggestions, and we'll be listening to the comments. So let us know what you guys use. And there you go. I'm just trying to fill that little back corner. That way I can let it sit. Come back once it's a little tacky. Sharpen that line up. And then block everything down. After I block the Fiberglass itself, I'll go ahead and sand it, primer it with 2K high build primer, and then block it with the acrylic sanders.
Alright guys, you guys stayed at the end. Stay tuned in, follow, subscribe, check out our other platforms. Stay ready because you ain't gonna get ready. Period.